In a quiet village nestled at the foot of a grand mountain, there lived a blacksmith named Elias. He was known for his skill, crafting swords, tools, and armor that were unmatched in quality. But Elias wasn't content. He dreamed of creating a masterpiece, a sword so extraordinary that kings would seek him out, a blade that would outlive him and become legendary. Elias spent years working toward this goal. He studied metallurgy, experimented with new techniques, and pushed himself to the limits of his skill. Yet, every time he thought he had crafted the perfect sword, he would find a flaw, a tiny imperfection that no one else might notice, but one that tormented him. One day, after years of trying and failing, Elias was ready to give up. He stood in his forge, staring at a pile of rejected swords and broken dreams, and thought, maybe I'm just not good enough. Maybe this dream isn't meant to be. As he sat there in despair, an old traveler entered the forge. The man was cloaked in a tattered robe, his face weathered but kind. He carried with him a strange aura of wisdom. "I've heard of your talent," the traveler said. "They say you're the finest blacksmith for miles. Why then do you look so defeated?" Elias sighed. "I've spent my life chasing a dream, a perfect sword. But no matter what I do, I can't get it right. I'm starting to think I've wasted my time." The traveler nodded thoughtfully and said, "Do you know the story of the phoenix?" Elias shook his head. "The phoenix is a mythical bird," the traveler began, "known for its ability to rise from its own ashes. But before it can be reborn, it must first endure the fire. The flames burn away the old, the weak, and the impure, leaving only the essence of what the phoenix truly is. It's the fire that makes the phoenix extraordinary." The blacksmith frowned. "What does that have to do with me?" "Your forge is your fire," the traveler said. "And these failures you speak of? They are your ashes. Each time you fail, you burn away what doesn't work. Each attempt brings you closer to the essence of perfection." Elias considered this. "But how do I know I won't burn forever? What if I never rise?" "That is up to you," the traveler replied. "The phoenix rises not because it waits for the flames to stop, but because it chooses to rise despite them. The question is not whether you can create your masterpiece. The question is whether you will keep going until you do." With that, the traveler left, leaving Elias to ponder his words. Inspired, Elias decided to try again. This time, he approached his work differently. Instead of fearing failure, he embraced it. Every time a blade cracked or a design faltered, he studied the flaw, learned from it, and tried again. He kept reminding himself that the fire was part of the process. Months turned into years, and Elias's skill grew sharper than ever. He developed techniques that no one had ever seen before, layering metals in ways that made the blades both unbreakable and razor-sharp. He poured not just his skill into his work, but also his resilience, his passion, and his very soul. One fateful day, Elias stood before the forge with a blade in his hand. It shimmered like silver in the sunlight, its edges glowing faintly with an otherworldly light. He ran his fingers over its surface, searching for a flaw, but for the first time, he found none. He had done it. He had created his masterpiece. Word of Elias's sword spread quickly. Kings and warriors came from far and wide, offering him fortunes for the blade. But Elias didn't sell it. Instead, he placed it in the heart of the village, a symbol of what could be achieved with perseverance. The sword became known as the Phoenix Blade, a reminder to all who saw it that greatness isn't born. It's forged in the fires of struggle and failure. And Elias, once a simple blacksmith, became a legend, not because he never failed, but because he never gave up. Like Elias, we all face fires in our lives, setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt. But these challenges are not meant to destroy us. They are meant to shape us. Every failure teaches us something, every setback strengthens us, and every moment of perseverance brings us closer to our goals. So, when you find yourself in the fire, remember the phoenix. Embrace the flames, learn from the ashes, and rise again. Your masterpiece is waiting, if only you have the courage to keep forging.